A month we never forget English listening stories level B2. Amelia had been standing near the abandoned railway crossing for almost an hour. She told herself she was searching for the perfect shot with her camera, but deep inside, she knew the truth. She was hiding. Hiding from her thoughts, from unanswered questions, from a life that suddenly felt too quiet and too loud at the same time. The air smelled of rusted metal, dry grass, and warm dust. Somewhere in the distance, a train horn echoed like a memory she didn't want to touch. She lifted her camera, adjusted the focus, then lowered it again with a tired sigh. Inspiration used to come naturally to her. Lately, it felt like something she had lost and didn't know how to find again. That was when she noticed a man standing directly on the tracks. He looked confused, turning slowly in circles, his phone raised in frustration as if the screen might suddenly explain everything. Amelia opened her mouth to call out, but before she could, she heard the sound. Metal wheels scraping against metal rails. A small maintenance cart was approaching from behind the curve. Time narrowed into a single sharp moment. Amelia ran. She grabbed the man's arm and pulled him backward with all her strength. They fell into the dry grass, breathless, hearts pounding wildly. The man stared at her, shock written across his face. "I think you just saved my life," he said quietly. Amelia brushed dirt from her hands, trying to steady her breathing. "Next time," she replied, "don't trust your phone more than your eyes." But as their eyes met, something unspoken passed between them, something unexpected, fragile, and impossible to ignore. They found themselves waiting together under the dim yellow lights of an old train platform. The place felt forgotten by time, filled with echoes of footsteps that no longer existed. Amelia stood with her arms crossed, watching the empty tracks, while the man, Adam, as he finally introduced himself, tried to shake off his embarrassment. "I swear," he said with an awkward smile, "my sense of direction wasn't always this bad." Amelia smiled politely but said nothing. Still, she noticed the tension behind his humor, the way his eyes searched for something steady. Adam noticed things too, the quiet sadness in her posture, the way she seemed present and distant at the same time. After a long pause, Adam spoke again, his voice softer now. "This might sound strange, but what if we spent 1 month together?" Amelia turned to him slowly. "A month?" "Yes, just one. No expectations, no promises, just trying to live differently for a while." She let out a small laugh. "You're asking a stranger for a month of her life." "I'm asking for a chance to breathe," he answered honestly. Her train was delayed. The night air felt heavy, almost intimate. Amelia looked down at the platform, then back at him. "1 month," she said at last, "but only if I make the rules." Adam nodded without hesitation. Neither of them realized it yet, but the moment had already changed everything. They sat on a worn wooden bench at the far end of the platform, away from the noise and announcements. Amelia took a slow breath, gathering her thoughts. She didn't usually let people this close. Not anymore. "If we're doing this," she said calmly, "we need rules." Adam leaned forward, listening carefully. "Rule 1, Amelia began. "We don't talk about the past, not yours, not mine. This month is about now." Adam nodded. "That feels fair." "Rule 2, no social media, no photos of each other, no recording moments just to prove they happened." He smiled lightly. "Living offline, I can try." "Rule 3, she continued. "Every day we do one new thing, something unplanned, something that scares us a little." Adam considered this, then said, "I like that one." Amelia hesitated before adding the last rule. "Rule 4, if any rule is broken, the month ends. No discussion." Adam met her eyes, his expression serious. "I won't break them." For a moment, Amelia believed him, and that belief frightened her more than any rule she had made. The train finally arrived, its doors sliding open with a soft mechanical sound. As they stepped inside, Amelia felt something shift quietly within her. This month was supposed to be simple, but deep down, she already knew it wouldn't be. The first official day of their month began without a plan. Amelia sent Adam a short message with just an address and the words, "Wear comfortable shoes." When he arrived, she was waiting at the entrance of an old building, smiling as if she were holding a secret. They climbed a narrow metal ladder that led to the roof of an abandoned cinema. The city opened beneath them, soft and glowing. Blankets were spread across the concrete, and a black and white movie played on the wall of a nearby building. The air smelled of warm waffles and distant rain. Adam looked around in amazement. "I didn't know places like this still existed." "They do," Amelia replied. "You just have to stop rushing past them." They sat close, sharing food and quiet laughter. Adam almost asked about her camera, her work, her life before this moment, but Amelia gently tapped his wrist. "No past," she reminded him with a playful smile. As the movie continued, light rain began to fall. Adam stood up instinctively, searching for shelter, but Amelia stayed where she was. She lifted her face to the sky, letting the rain touch her skin. "Life feels real," she said softly, "when it's inconvenient." Adam laughed, not politely, not carefully, but freely. He realized he hadn't laughed like that in years. And as he watched Amelia smile at the rain, he felt something inside him begin to soften. The next morning, Amelia led Adam out of the city before sunrise. The road twisted upward, slowly trading buildings for trees and silence. When they reached the trail, Adam hesitated. "You didn't say we were hiking," he said, looking down at his city shoes. "That's because you might have said no," Amelia replied, already walking ahead. The climb was harder than Adam expected. His breathing grew heavy, and halfway up, his shoe tore open on a sharp rock. He cursed under his breath. Amelia laughed, then knelt beside him without hesitation. Using a fallen branch and the ribbon from her hair, she created a simple support for his shoe. "You're full of surprises," Adam said quietly. "So is life," she answered. At the summit, the world stretched endlessly below them. The wind was strong, clean, and honest. Amelia sat on a rock, her hair dancing wildly around her face. "We don't fear heights," she said after a moment. "We fear stopping long enough to see how far we've drifted from ourselves." Adam didn't respond right away. He felt the truth of her words settle deep inside him. Standing there, surrounded by silence, he realized something important. He wasn't just climbing a mountain. He was learning how to slow down and how to feel again. That evening, the city felt quieter, as if it were holding its breath. Amelia and Adam wandered through a small park lit by soft streetlights. Leaves crunched under their steps, and distant laughter floated through the air. Amelia suddenly stopped in front of an old music box machine, its surface scratched and faded by time. "Pick a song," she said. Adam pressed a random button. Gentle music filled the night, slow, imperfect, beautiful. Without thinking, Amelia slipped off her shoes and stepped onto the cool grass. She began to dance, not carefully, not professionally, but honestly. Her movements were free, almost fearless. Adam watched, unsure, until she reached for his hand. "New thing," she said. "Dance without worrying how it looks." They danced awkwardly, laughing when they stumbled, spinning until the world felt lighter. When the music ended, they lay on the grass, staring up at the dark sky. "I don't know why," Adam said quietly, "but meeting you feels important." Amelia turned her head away, her smile gentle but guarded. "Let's just live this month," she whispered, without asking what comes next. But as she closed her eyes, a shadow of fear crossed her face. A fear Adam couldn't yet understand. Adam woke up that morning with an unfamiliar feeling of excitement. The past few days had blurred together in the best way possible, each one carrying something new, something lighter. He checked his phone, expecting a short message from Amelia telling him where to go next. There was nothing. At first, he wasn't worried. Amelia never liked strict plans. But as the hours passed, the silence grew heavier. He walked to the park where they had danced. then to the cafe where they had shared tea. He even returned to the old railway crossing, hoping to find her there. She wasn't anywhere. By late afternoon, worry had settled deep in his chest. When Amelia finally appeared at sunset, standing quietly near a small street corner, Adam rushed toward her with relief, then stopped. Her eyes were red. Her smile looked practiced, not real. She hugged her jacket tightly, as if holding herself together. "Where were you?" he asked softly. She hesitated. "I needed time." "Are you okay?" She nodded too quickly. "I'm fine, just a heavy day." Adam wanted to ask more. He wanted to break every rule if it meant understanding her. But something in her expression warned him not to push. They walked in silence as the city lights slowly turned on around them. Adam realized then that Amelia wasn't just spontaneous or mysterious. She was carrying something painful, something she didn't want him to see. And for the first time, he felt afraid of losing her. The next day, Amelia suggested they go somewhere quiet. They drove outside the city to a small lake surrounded by tall trees and open sky. The water was still, reflecting the clouds like a second world beneath them. They sat on the edge of a wooden pier, feet hanging just above the surface. Adam spoke first. He didn't plan to, but the calm made honesty feel possible. He told her about his father's death, about working too much, about feeling successful but empty. He admitted that most days felt like repetition without meaning. Amelia listened without interrupting. Her presence felt steady, grounding. When he finished, he looked at her. "What about you?" She stared at the water for a long moment. "I don't have much time," she said quietly. His heart tightened. "What do you mean?" She shook her head slightly. "I just live faster than most people, I always have." It wasn't an answer. Not really. But her voice carried a weight that frightened him. Adam wanted to ask more, but the sadness in her eyes stopped him. He understood then. She wasn't hiding because she didn't trust him. She was hiding because she was afraid of what the truth might take away. Amelia planned the day carefully, though she pretended it was spontaneous. They watched the sunrise from a small rooftop cafe, warm cups between their hands. Then came a motorcycle ride through open roads, the wind pulling laughter from their lungs. They explored an abandoned lighthouse by the sea, climbing narrow stairs and writing short notes for strangers they would never meet. As evening fell, Amelia led Adam to an open field where paper lanterns waited. They lit them together. One by one, the lanterns rose into the sky, glowing softly like fragile promises. "Why are we doing so much in one day?" Adam finally asked. Amelia looked at the lanterns, her eyes shining. "Because slow living is a luxury," she whispered, "and I was never given enough time." The words stayed with him, heavy and sharp. She rested her head on his shoulder, and Adam wrapped his arm around her gently. In that moment, joy and fear existed together. He knew something was coming, and he was terrified, not of pain, but of loving someone he might not be able to keep. The truth came quietly. Amelia didn't choose a dramatic place or moment. She told Adam in her small apartment, sunlight falling softly across the floor. Her voice didn't shake, but her hands did. She explained everything, the illness, the limited time, the reason she lived as if every day mattered more than tomorrow. She didn't want to be remembered through hospitals or pity. She wanted to be remembered through moments. Adam felt the world tilt. He wanted to argue, to fix it, to refuse reality. But Amelia touched his face gently. "I didn't want you to fall in love with my ending," she said. "I wanted you to fall in love with living." They spent their last days together quietly. No lists, no rules, just presence, shared meals, long walks, comfortable silence. On the final morning, Amelia left before he woke up. She left him a letter. In it, she didn't say goodbye. She thanked him for learning how to feel, for slowing down, for choosing life instead of fear. She told him to keep doing new things, even when they scared him, especially then. Months later, Adam stood on a rooftop alone, watching the city breathe beneath him. He had changed jobs. He laughed more. He noticed Rain. He still missed her. But Amelia hadn't disappeared. She lived in every moment he finally allowed himself to feel. And that was how she stayed. Subscribe if you want to enjoy more interesting English listening stories. Thank you.